And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at a game called Checkpoint Charlie. This is a light deduction game that kind of uses the Cold War theming, except it's cats and dogs. And you are trying to find the spy, trying to capture the person, the criminal, out of the different cats, trying to figure out who they are. Here's how it plays. In this game, you're going to have lots of different suspects. You're trying to find a criminal, and the suspects are all cats, naturally. And each cat is going to have 5 different characteristics. They're either going to have sunglasses or no sunglasses. They're going to be orange or gray. They're going to have a hat or no hat. They're going to have a newspaper or no newspaper. And they're going to have a trench coat or a sweater. Each player is going to take an investigating card. So this is the dog that you are. And you'll put that in front of you. And each player is going to draw from a bag randomly one of these clues, and they're going to decide what it is. So maybe, for example, I'm going to say no glasses. And that's my clue. Only I know what that is. If there's less than 5 players, the rest of the investigators are shuffled into the top half of the deck, and any clues that weren't taken are left in the bag. So on a player's turn, they're simply going to turn over the top card of the deck. So let's say I turn over Ori here. And then I'm going to say yes or no if they match my clue. Well, yes, he matches my clue because they have no glasses. I turn over Tobias and I'll say no and discard him on my next turn. Then I turn over Marco and I say yes and I keep him in front of me. Well, now everyone looking at my clue knows that I'm either no glasses, no newspaper, or a sweater. The next time I say no to Babushka, then Magnus, I say yes. Well, I still could be sweater, no newspaper, or no glasses. So players are trying to figure this out. If you draw one of the investigators that's not in the game, at that point you'll pull a remaining clue token and kind of flip it on the table. And now we all know that the person has a sweater, and that's a clue everybody has. Once you think you know who the suspect is, you can basically drop your clue, your token on that. And players can drop their clues, and you can put them in front of anybody on any of the revealed cats. When everybody but one person has put out their deduction token like that, you then will reveal all the clues in the game to see what the cat is. So let's say the clues are like this. So the cat has no glasses, is gray, has a sweater, no hat, and no newspaper. Magnus is definitely the criminal. So I basically win this round. This player had everything right except for the hat. So that's 4 out of 5, that's okay. But if I had gone here, I would have been wrong about the color, orange. And I also would have been wrong. Well, actually, I think that's the only thing that's wrong. That's also 4 correct. But if you had guessed on Gunter here, I would have the color right, the no glasses right, the no hat right, the no newspaper right. Actually, only the coat is wrong. So there's lots of cats that are going to be 4 out of 5, but there's going to be also cats that are completely wrong. There's a bunch of tokens over here. If you got the correct 5 out of 5, you get to draw a gold token, which you can see are 3 to 5 points. If you got 4 out of 5, you get a white token here, which are 1 or 2 points. And if you didn't put out a thing at all, if you didn't guess on someone, you're the last person, or you got only 3 out of the 5 things correct, you'll take a black token, which is 0 or -1. The game ends when one player gets 10 points, or you run out of one of the colors of tokens, or you go through 5 rounds. At that point, whoever has the most points wins, unless it's the person who gets 10 points first. That person is the winner. There's also 2 variants where you can basically place the Stasi marker in there, and there's another token for them, and there's also cafe tokens that let you look at things from other players. But the game is pretty good just as the basic game. Checkpoint Charlie, let's go over different things of it. First of all, like the artwork. The theme can be a little bit grim, right, with the spy, but the dogs versus cat thing is always funny. Of course, there's lots of things about that, and I'm glad for any game where I'm trying to figure out who the wicked cat is. I mean, I think it's most of them. But anyhow, no, but I mean, really, seriously, the artwork is really nice and good. the quality of the cards and everything, and it works. The game is a deduction game, but it's a fairly light deduction game. Now, you saw when I was laying out the cards, that I think could have been one of three, but that doesn't happen very often. Sometimes you lay out two cards and it's like, I already know what your clue is. So as the game comes by, you're watching, because as soon as that person comes up with the 5, you want to put it on it. But you don't know the 5 right away. You might know 3 or 4, and sometimes you'll guess, right? You'll guess just because you know 4 out of the 5 clues, so you might as well take some points rather than be right. You might even get the 5th one correct. Now, the game does have a rule that if nobody gets it correctly, then the person who didn't put down a clue gets a white token, and that's to stop people from just throwing them out randomly and hoping they get right. I will say that my biggest detraction from the game is the tokens. Really not sure what the thought process in there was. Obviously, getting 5 right gets you 3, 4, or 5 points, but in a game where you need to get to 10, 3 is very different than 5, and then everyone else gets 1. I don't know. I just don't like the random point tokens. I think it'd just be easier just to have actual score. You know, you get it right, you get 2 points. You get 4 out of 5 right, you get 1 point. Everyone else gets 0. And then after 5 rounds, whoever's the most points wins. I think that would just be a better way to run it. The random point tokens seemed odd. And like I said, the variants were okay. But despite that, I still really enjoy it. This is not a heavy game that's going to cause a lot of thought. But it is fun as you flip each cat over and go, okay, all right, so this is a cat. All right, I'm looking for an orange cat with a hat and a newspaper. No, that's not one. No, that one has an orange hat and it has a hat, no newspaper, but it might have the other 2 clues right. Maybe I should throw something out on that. And suddenly there's a flurry of movement. And sometimes when someone else puts something out, you're like, well, what do they know that I don't know? Again, not heavy deduction, but light, frothy, fun kind of deduction. And I enjoyed it. It fit the theme, trying to find a spy. So other than the tokens, I did enjoy this one. Certainly one to check out. That's Checkpoint Charlie. Also, I really like that name. Checkpoint Charlie. Checkpoint Charlie. Dice Tower Judgment approved.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!
There?